Hello guys, I just want to drop in quickly here today and bring another video on the topic of identification. Now this video is a helpful companion for the video that I made the last day, but it is not necessarily a sequential next video or next step. But this is all important as well, and it is the next step you can really tune into. You can know in your awareness, you can see where this understanding takes you. You can see what doorways it opens, and you can play with it yourself in your own reality. So, as we awaken, as we come to know ourselves as spiritual beings, the summary of how our identification shifts is that it shifts from being only identified with the conditioning, the mind, the programming, and that physical person and all your circumstantial reality, to being more identified with the soul, with the spiritual aspect, with what you are as essence, as energy, your nature. So this is a shift in identification. Now, the awakening is incremental, it's ever expanding. It doesn't exactly reach a fixed point and there you go, you're done, you're completely awakened, that's it. This is something that's going to be ever evolving. So you can actually watch that process inside of yourself where your identification chooses to switch in a greater way from the conditioning more over to that formless aspect, where part of your identification process leaves the form, shifts onto the formless aspect. Now, I could give you loads of arguments as to why or the benefits of being more identified with the formless versus the form. But to save me doing that, you can just think about that yourself and think about what is the sense of self that you believe yourself to be when you believe that you're the form. And then what is the sense of self that you believe yourself to be when you are the formless? And how does that change? How does that open up? How does that close down? You can see the difference and you can play around with that. And through that inquiry, if you choose to make it personally on yourself, you may actually start to shift your allegiance more strongly to your greater aspect, more to the formless aspect of you. And who knows where that could take you. So what I want to add as an important pointer here is that it takes time to attune your awareness to the subtlety of your essence and your energetic nature and the stream of your soul and what you are in a formless way. This is more subtle information, and as a result, your awareness needs to become more sensitive in order to be able to perceive it in a stronger way. So this is actually a type of perceptory. I don't even know what the right word is there, but I'll just say perception range. This is a type of perception range that expands and that needs to grow in order to perceive more of this stuff. So in the beginning, the perception and the identification with your formless aspect and your energetic nature may feel very soft, subtle, intangible, but it will get more tangible. When you're identified with the conditioning and the form, this is quite dense information. It's quite gross, as in large. It's a gross perception. It's not subtle. So it's very easy to perceive. It doesn't take any type of training and subtlety in order to perceive it, in order to know it. It is a lot more easy to perceive, basically. So we may be used to perceiving and identifying with information that feels that type of perception or feels to be that density of perception. So it might feel more real in some ways because it's more tangible, it's more physicalized. However, as you become more sensitive in your ability to perceive and to know and to channel your energetic aspect, your essence, your nature, you start to make this information your physical reality. Through your connection to it, through your choice for it, your identification with it, you're creating the bridge to that energy. And you are channeling more of that through into your physical reality. And of course, the physical manifestation of your spiritual energy is not going to be the exact same as your spiritual energy in its non-physical form, because that is its unmanifested potential. It in manifested form is going to be a bit different, but it's not going to be the same density as the type of content from your conditioned existence. So this is the process, and this is the thing to note, is that this is the change that we go through when we're shifting our identification. And it is a bit more subtle, and it takes a bit of training, it takes a bit of diligence. And don't listen to any doubts that you have when you're expecting it to be perceived in as heavy of a way as you perceive the conditioning. Don't listen to any doubts that say, or that question its realness and its validity and your connection. Your connection is there. Your perception is there. Your ability to know you on that level is solid. You just have to practice it. You just have to attune your awareness. If you think about it, awareness is a muscle. Awareness is really used to have been focused on heavy physical things, and it is used to a type of dense perception. And in order for it to become more attuned to a subtlety in perception, it's going to need to work that muscle. So it takes practice, patience, diligence, trust and faith and knowing. And this is part of the learning that we're all here to go through. We're here to know ourselves and to feel it and to have complete and utter conviction and faith in that, no matter how it appears or doesn't appear. The fact that it appears energetically and we can just feel its essence through that type of perception, but it's subtle and it's not physical. We don't have proof in front of our eyes. This is training our ability to know beyond what is in front of us, to see into the unseen, and to know that that is the real reality. There is a reality there. And through being able to perceive it in this way, even if it's subtle and even if we don't have any proof apart from our own subtle perceptions, we are given the opportunity to deepen in our faith and deepen in our knowing of it, regardless of the type of physical proof. And this is really good for the mind that wants to have physical proof of everything. This is just the materialist mind. So, there was one other point that I wanted to make on this. Oh yeah. So, when we're identified with the mind and the sense of identity that comes from conditioning, it's very tangible. Yes. And it's definable. It is something that we've seen before. It already exists. The essence of our non-physical nature, the formless aspect, is not necessarily something that we already know because we haven't seen it with our eyes. And the stream of your soul and the way your consciousness is choosing to express may actually take a form that you have never seen before. And you don't even know how to know what that is going to look like. So it is not something that you will tangibly know because you haven't seen it already. So in some way, it's a different type of identification. It's with something that you don't know the quality of in the same way you know the quality of your physicalized, manifested experience as a person. We don't know how the energy of our consciousness and our soul is going to want to express and be embodied. So you can't expect to be able to know through your mind when you're choosing to identify there, oh yeah, it will look like that. Because that's just the mind's frame on it. Might be close, Might be moving you in the direction, but it won't be exactly that. We're here to connect and to identify with the essence anyways. It's all about the energetic aspect of it, the nature of it, and the formless. It's not about the expression and the form. That's just the after effect. That is later, and it's great. But this is what we're here to do. This is why we incarnated in this type of realm. We're here to be able to know our energetic and our spiritual aspect, even through this obscene contrast, which is the physical reality and the physical form. What an amazing school for spiritual mastery. This is what we came here for. We wouldn't have come here if we didn't want to learn this. And I know how it feels to feel so limited and constricted in this human form, and to feel so alienated and just sickened by how limited it feels compared to the expansiveness of your infinite nature. But we came here to experience the infinite through this finite expression. This is what it's all about. And it's not just about knowing the infinite in the infinite. It's about knowing the infinite in the finite. And we came here for this. And we have to accept that it may feel like there are limits or ceilings or bounds to this, but that is not actually the case. It is the opportunity to deepen it and to know it no matter what, and to know it through this extreme contrast. It is offering such a higher level of knowing of it that we couldn't get if we were just hanging out in the infinite and just being all that there is. You can't get this kind of realization up there. Not that it's up, but in some ways it is. Okay, well, that's it for me. I will love you and leave you. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to share any thoughts that came up for you around this, any questions that you have. Love to hear from you, and I appreciate knowing that this information has been applied and used to inquire more deeply within yourself, so that you can come to know the beauty and more of the vastness of what is within you, and learn as we go through this journey of bringing more of ourselves through in the form. Learn about the nuances of self and figure it out as we're translating ourselves through into manifested expression and existence. Fun times. Bye, guys.